Hello everyone, so this is going to be my first theory on this channel. And today's theory, I really hope you guys enjoy this. It's about the amazing American classic called The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, but this is also going to relate to the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, so don't feel clickbaited or scammed because I'm going to mainly only talk about the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. So what this is about is Tom and Huck are brothers. I bet you everybody just clicked off the video and said, what the, this is a Christian server, I cannot cuss. That, like, oh, they're from two different families, two different last names, what's your evidence about this? So my beautiful evidence is that Tom's and Huck's parents, so Huck's dad, Tom's mom, were married, which is, so what we know about Tom is that he's living with his aunt, and that we don't really know a lot about his backstory about his parents, but we do know his parents are supposedly dead or missing or something like that. What I believe is his mom did in fact die later. And warning guys, I should have said this at the beginning, that this will contain spoilers. So if you guys haven't read the books or watched any movies about it, I highly suggest you don't watch the rest from this point. Okay, so we know that Tom's parents are like supposedly dead or whatever. So my evidence to back up the theory is that his parents actually died later. And what happened was their parents got in a divorce, because people are like, oh, how do you know that they got in a divorce? Because Tom has a half-brother, Sid. The parents can't still be together in order for there to be a half-brother. I have 3 Tom Sawyer books, and all of them say half-brother. I've watched the cartoon, and it has said half-brother. I watched a couple of summaries, and it has said half-brother or step-brother. So we do know that they are step-brothers. So they rather have different dads or different moms. I think they have different dads. So my theory, backing up the divorce, is they divorced because they weren't really getting along, the parents. And so Tom and Huck were the 2 kids. So once they got a divorce, the mom took Tom, the dad took Huck. They were probably really young when this happened, so that's why they wouldn't remember anything about it. And so on, about that, the fact that, you know, normally in divorces, one parent takes one kid, the other takes another. So after the divorce, and later, Tom's mom passes, Huck's dad turns to alcohol, which we did say that the mom died was turned into alcohol, but what if it could have also been a recent divorce? So, or not a third divorce, just not getting along very well. One kind of owned one kid, they kind of lived separately. But Huck, I think, has more evidence about his mom than Tom does about his dad, just by memory. Everybody had different memory. And I'm very sorry about this really weird image I have on the screen right now. But a little bit more evident to back this up is it would make a lot of sense why they get along very well, and they look pretty similar in some cartoons, like even closer than Tom looks to his own brother. And why would they rely on each other so much? I get that they're friends, and how did they bond so much? Like, and why did Aunt Polly not like Huck? Because probably it could have resulted in a giant family problem. The dad turned to alcohol, Huck being his son. The aunt would probably assume Huck is just like his dad. No wonder why the town doesn't like him. And of course, like, even in my opinion, Tom acts worse than Huck, and yet how Tom gets treated better than Huck does. So there has to be more reason behind it than just people don't trust him. And also, the fact that he hates being civilized. Why, even if you run away from your house, wouldn't you still want to live in a house? He doesn't want to live with the family anymore because he's afraid he's going to cause problems, is a huge part of it. And even the more evidence I have, so this was in a cartoon I watched, sadly the cartoon is taken down in English. It would just called The Adventure of the Tom Sawyer. It was made in Japan and stuff. And there was an English dub that got taken down. I fucking hate YouTube for that. Oh wait, Christian server. I just did the F word, but I don't care. So the footage got taken down, and I'm still trying to search for it. If any of you guys could find it, I can't really find any pictures of it or anything like that, but it looks pretty similar to this. Tom saw a dead body in the water and said that it was Huck's father, possibly. How would Tom know how Huck's dad looks when he had never met Huck's dad? Or has he? Of course, it was probably really young when the parents got divorced, if they did. Though he would have a little bit of memory about the dad, and looking at body type, a little bit of hair within the water, skin tone, how would he immediately think that that's Huck's dad? Like, he has to have a little bit of schema on that person to jump to the factor that it's somebody's father, maybe even his own. Though, of course, Tom wouldn't know a lot about his father and mother. Then they died or got divorced when they were really young, and I think it would just make a little bit more sense in a way, because we don't know much about the family, about where they live and stuff. All we know is Huck's mother died and he lived with his dad until he ran away. We don't even know what happened to Tom's parents. Never said that they died. Never really know that they died. How would anybody have known that they have died? The mom probably had died. They share the same parent. That's why in the cartoon, like, it would more of a brother bond than a friend bond. Like, they just said things to one another that no matter how close you are to a friend, you wouldn't probably say. They let each other go into their personal and family life, which would make no sense. I think that they could have possibly have figured it out. We just wouldn't have it had never gotten mentioned. And more evidence I have about this is how long they've known each other. You can know someone for a really long time, but would you really exactly, like, he needs to know about this. He needs to know that yet they could be possibly related or know each other. So back to the whole divorce theory, another question that you guys may have is, then why do they have different last names? I do believe that they never got the last name changed. Therefore, when they divorced, that's when the last names were changed. 'Cause I know people who have that had happened to, where the dad would own the child, but the child still, well, the mom would own the child, but the child still yet had the dad's last name, but then they would get it changed or just go by the last name. And really more evidence about this is who the hell named their kid Huckleberry Finn? So, that could have resulted in something that was just a name that the father came up with. 'Cause remember, the father was always drunk, so I don't really know how many people out there would name their kid Huckleberry Finn. Yeah, very, very lovely name. Yeah. So, back to the whole lovely divorce theory is we never really hear about the parents. We have no evidence. How would they know so much about each other's family? And I wish that there was more to the story and more to the theory. This theory may get added to on in the future, but even though there's not a ton of evidence, I do want everybody watching the theory to think that it is plausible, and just to think that it is possible that why they know each other is because possibly their parents were together, got divorced, mom dies, dad turns to alcohol, because Huck would still have known his mom. They would still have to have met each other. And the dad, you would think, just because parents are divorced, don't mean they still don't yet care about each other. Like, just because two parents are divorced doesn't mean they're not going to worry if one dies, 'cause that's the other kid's parent. So, of course, the dad would feel kind of bad for his child. So that would turn him to depression, drinking alcohol as the answer. So that's just some good evidence I have of how long the families have known each other and stuff. So, like I said, there will probably be a good part 2 to the theory once I wrap up some more evidence that I've read some more books, and goodbye.